I was in New York, and I wanted to link up with you, but then you had just left.
Right.
I think you were off to LA or something like that. So then fast forward to where we are at now. When you reached out and you were like, no man, what is this? I didn't know about this movement around Amatyma. I'm quite keen to get involved. Let's set up some time when I get back home. And you're back home, and of course you've been quite busy. So for me to even be able to sit with you and have this moment is really special, especially because I've grown up looking up to you. Obviously also watched the show and just appreciating you as your show, your reality show.
I like it. Oh, that.
Yes. It was well shot, by the way.
I'm curious your thoughts about that.
Oh, I'll give you
Shire's trait.
I'll give you my own personal.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it, by the way.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about the way it was done is that I actually watched everything at once. I spent the whole day watching.
Right.
It's quite addictive.
Right.
One episode ends, you on to the next. And what I appreciate more about the show is the relationship that you displayed with your kids. Because I've got a very strong opinion about fatherhood, and it comes from how I was raised and how the person that raised me was raised. So my dad and my grandfather. I was fortunate enough to have both grandfathers alive until I was beyond 21.
Right.
I was even fortunate enough to still have my great grandmother alive until I was 24.
Right.
I think she was 97 when she passed on.
Right.
So I've been fortunate enough to have the ability to absorb, and absorb from everywhere, both sides of the family. Pinville. Yeah, ke golela ko Pinville, ke golela ko Zone 7. Ke golela ko Klipspruit, ke golela ko Rockville, because my grandparents stayed there and we obviously used to visit on weekends. So then I started this movement around Amatyma because I realized that a lot of guys on social media are always asking me about my relationship with my daughters, how I'm posting, what we're doing, the moments, the challenges, and I started this Amatyma, which obviously in Kasi slogan means fathers.
Yes, yeah.
It's such a cool name. You don't have, if you're from Kukas, you know Letayma King. It's like the old lady, you know. But Letayma is quite powerful because it doesn't have an age bracket. If you understand what I'm saying. An uncle can be Letayma. And Tatamkhulu can be Letayma. Next door neighbor can be Letayma. It takes
a village.
Absolutely. And so then I started reaching out to different dads that I've got access to on Instagram, and I said to them, just send me pictures with your kids, videos. Let's just start posting randomly moments with kids to show that we as fathers actually do spend time with our kids. It's not always about the material. You know, we obviously want the best for our kids, the best schools, the best of everything. But when all is said and done, they just want your time. They just want you to be there, create those memories whilst you're there. And I was saying to someone that, you know, we spend so much time hustling for our offspring and forget to spend the time with them. You know, we're always on the rat race. We're hustling, trying to make that money. And then you reached out and now we're here. And I'm quite keen to find out from you what triggered the interest. Because obviously for me, it's not just anybody who's showing an interest. It's someone that I grew up looking up to. And for me, it means I'm doing something right. You know, and now we're here having this frank conversation.
I'll check. You know, when I stumbled into this amazing, I call it a movement. Maybe you call it something else.
You call it a network.
Whatever. I had been, whatever the passion is that motivated you to start this movement. After reading a few of the comments, with the fathers, and I saw one of the clips that you did with one of the brothers, Kukas.
Yes.
And it dawned on me, because I've been dealing with the post-Baraki perception of black backlash.
Yes.
On my reality show.
Right.
And I felt so compelled to call you because the perceptions that come out of my reality show from episode 1 to episode 10 are just that perception. The audience is not aware
of the reality
of what is going on behind the camera.
Of course.
In the family dynamics. So the first thing I picked up by assumption is that which motivated me to even approve this reality show was as a South African black man from Soweto.
Yeah.
Who's gone around the world. My deep desire to participate in society as a South African first.
Yeah.
Not as a musician or a producer, as a creator.
Just as a citizen.
Just as a citizen.
Yeah.
And how this was sold to me, the reality shows, I'm going to link it to what motivated me to yours, is that, hey, bro, no one knows you.
Yeah.
They just know the Lion King guy.
That's it.
In South Africa.
Yes. Yes.
What did you guys say? You go to extra miles to say you are not only a South African, you are also a Sowetan.
Yeah.
But it appears 90% of Sowetans actually don't identify with
yeah.
you or know that you are Sowetan.
Correct.
Or Sowetan.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I started thinking about that. Actually, it's true. Yeah? But I didn't want my professional life and career to, for lack of a better description, reintroduce me to South Africa.
Yeah.
In that sense,
yeah.
I wanted to.
It's not true representation.
No, it's not. It's not.
Far from it.
Yeah, it is conversation.
Yeah.
So what they sold is that, because no one knows who you really are and where you're from, and they just know you as a Lion King guy.
Yeah.
Post-COVID, when the country and the world is stressed and traumatized.
Yeah.
Plus, they'd observed my family.
Yeah. They'd watched, and everyone was home.
MJITA, no, before the show.
Oh, before. Okay.
Yeah. It was awesome for you to fulfill your passion through a subject that makes you autiakokas.
Yeah.
A South African.
Yeah.
Relatable.
Yeah.
You always talk about family. But then there's also a perception about you that you have a dysfunctional history of family.
Correct.
With 100 divorces and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
Stuff I took for granted, but people around me don't take for granted.
Correct.
Now I know I've been married 3 times.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. But other people know more than what you know in your own life.
Yeah, and the gossip paper, sometimes I'm married 6 times, sometimes I'm married 7 times. So that then became the dominant second thing about LEBO M.
Right.
The Lion King guy that's married all
so
the
many
time.
times. Yeah.
Obviously now that has an indirect impact on me as a human being.
Absolutely.
And as a father.
Yeah.
So I started thinking about it that way. No, man. This perception that I take for granted because I'm busy, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Surely has an impact on my children.
Absolutely.
All the time ba le tseba ile auti eso marona re tseba utama le so. So that is what channeled my energy to. I'm open to having a conversation through television.
Yeah.
About family dynamics.
Yeah.
Plus, now I'm also a refugee.
Yeah.
Now alludes to the second thing that you said. Next to let's
Yeah. Because you're raised by the community.
Yeah. Hopefully 3 streets away in Stira.
Something.
So those elements of discipline in parenting, in community building no longer exist.
At all.
Then that leads to political dysfunctionality in community all the way to...
Yeah, it's got a ripple effect.
It's got a ripple effect.
Yeah.
So then I say, I guess that's my role then. That is be part of a conversation about family.
Yeah.
But through the angle of fatherhood.
Yeah.
Through the angle of raising children.
Yeah.
Then becomes the other aspect that comes out of the reality show. But we can't just be, you're not a parent by yourself. Yeah. I always want to be one.
Yeah.
There's the other counterpart.
Absolutely.
The mother.
Yeah.
And then obviously that extends from the mother to my friends, her friends, the family.
Aunts,
so
uncles,
everything starts, everything starts with the father.
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
For a child to even become, to be conceived.
You need the father.
It's a father that makes the first move.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scientifically, biologically, and otherwise.
It's been proven.
Yeah. So if there's dysfunctionality in society, if there's crime in society, solution has to come from the father.
Yeah. GBV. The perpetrators.
TV.
Yeah.
Now, because of that, I really was so moved by stumbling into, stumbling into that because I've seen that very painful golf initiative that you did.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
I wish I would have participated in.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that there's so many aspects of it, but this one really touched me because it was personal.
Absolutely.
And it followed the foundation and the rationale why I decided to do a reality show.
Yeah.
Even though the reality show got completely misconstrued.
Yeah.
And
from what you actually intended to.
Well, for dynamics that I don't blame the audience, I don't even blame the media.
Right.
It's dynamics that will, deciding whether or not we'll do season 2.
I hear you.
Which was supposed to now explore the dynamics, the behind-the-scene dynamics.
Correct.
That
which
the audience doesn't know.
Yeah.
Which created a perception.
Yeah.
Now, we have the same passion.
Yeah.
You have girls. I have girls and a son.
Yes. Yes.
And our children are now growing up in a world and a society that's different from how we grew up.
Correct.
But I think I can take the chance that, unlike our fathers and our uncles and everybody, we grew up with a little bit more sophistication.
Yes, we did.
Our parenting is slightly more, we do
because we're a bit more exposed as well.
We're a lot more exposed.
Yeah.
Our cultural consciousness is a bit more incorporated into the global world. Whereas Khutmanzaro I get that, but the kind of interaction with not only the community but with the world was not as instant as now.
Correct.
So our global view and domestic view of parenting is different.
It's completely different.
We negotiate with our children. We have conversations with our children. We are
understanding as well.
We try to be understanding. But then, where I wanted to talk with you about was learn more. I get how it got inspired. Taking pictures and kids. I wanted to learn a bit more about the now holistic piece of it. And like Amatyma, the responsibility of this organizational movement, I'm very curious to family and society and country. I'm very curious if Titi and the brothers around him are aware of the responsibility that comes with this, which is a good thing. It's not a negative.
Absolutely.
You by default have become the custodians of what real men and real fathers should be
doing.
Therefore, it's easy for one to say, if we look at the last decade, the decadence and the money, the lifestyle, the girls, the thing is confusing everyone. It's Amatyma who fit everyone.
True.
But now, are we as men and as fathers having an honest discussion?
Right.
Are we having an honest discussion about fatherhood? Are we having an honest discussion about our responsibility as men and as fathers?
True.
But are we also likewise having an honest discussion with the counterparts, the mothers? Are the mothers having an honest discussion? That's what I loved about reading about Amatyma. Well, now let's see how this works. Because I can relate. What a reality show This was the platform that I wished create a conversation. To finish, because I can tell you, this is a very exciting subject matter for me. I have this silly theory. Post and the 100 men. This is what we do with the kids. We jump up and down. We make time for them. But the practical reality, from my experience, is as follows, which is what makes me passionate about not only wanting to be involved in your movement, but also to be involved in the conversation. Are we then going to be the kind of men that continue the myth that all is well? Because we got the cash. We can take our kids to the mall. We can make time for our kids. Are we going to be the kind of men and fathers that are going to be fearful of confronting very difficult issues from both sides, but especially from the counterpart side, from the females? Where are we with the issues of deadbeat men, famous and not? Because all of those are the consequences and the result of abusive men. Because men don't talk to men. Men don't talk about men. but men will abuse everyone, including men.
Absolutely. Everyone around them. And I'm glad,
that's what inspired me.
I'm glad you mentioned this. So initially the movement started at that point, it was just pictures. And then we moved up to a point where I started a Telegram group where men could now voice out their challenges. And man, the stuff that came out of there led me to the next part of the movement, where we started receiving a lot of messages from men crying out, and we put it out there. Right. And we said, can other fathers help out in this situation? Maybe you've experienced something like this. For example, there was a gentleman who said that he had lost his wife 2 weeks prior to us starting the group due to cancer. He doesn't know how to navigate through life. Now he's got these 2 girls. We had 2 fathers in the group. One was a psychologist and one was a father who had lost a wife a year before, who gave him sound advice. There were men who gave counseling numbers. Yeah. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm looking for a job. I've been unemployed. Yeah. If there's anything else, please. There's a gentleman we helped. He's starting work next week because of this group. Because he cried out. He was honest with me. He was like, listen, I can't even pay rent. I'm a father. I've got 3 kids. What do I do? So it's a network not only about creating that conversation openly, but also creating a support network that is not judgmental. No one has a right to judge anyone in this group, because we're not only a particular challenge and when you think you're better. So that's what the ethos of Amatyma is. We're going to have workshops, we're going to have seminars where I bring in life coaches, I bring in psychologists. I want to have breakaway sessions where we talk about GBV. Let's break it down. Let's talk about the emotional side, because people think GBV is just violence and physical. There's the emotional side of GBV that we need to talk about. Maybe
both ways.
Both ways. Yeah. Correct. No, you have to flip the coin both sides. Yeah. We have to talk about things that propel us to get to what we end up doing, and vice versa. Yeah. And also there's also that element of women who are single-handed raising children on their own. There's no father figure. Yeah. They are playing the mother and father role. So it's a lot. Yeah. It's a lot. So I'm talking to corporates at the moment, because we need to fund this thing. We need to scale it up. We need to create those avenues in terms of workshops that will allow men to talk, that will allow men to have a platform that is trusted, where your information is also kept confidential. Some guys want to be anonymous. I don't want the whole group to know what my name is. So what I do is I check out their numbers, I'll post it, and I'll ask for the permission. Are you happy? There's no names here. You know what that does? It encourages other men to realize that sometimes you think you've got problems until you realize that
until you learn the other guy's problems.
And so that's what this platform is really about. And guys are talking. I want to go into prisons. I want to go to talk to those fathers who don't have access to their kids because they're serving time. Especially those that are about to be released. They're going to have to be reincarnated back into society.
Incorporated into society.
Who are we to judge? All those things. It's a lot, eh?
I got stuck on that word. There'll be no judgment, and who are we to judge? I agree with that in principle. Né?
Yeah.
What I find fascinating is, from my point of view, that almost presupposes I can't tell you what I really think about your actions, because the foundation is
you can't judge.
You can misconstrue that as judging.
I hear you.
I hear you. Hanti, as man, I wouldn't even use that word. There'll be no judging.
Right. Because it shouldn't be.
Yeah, because the word shouldn't apply.
Yeah.
Why? Because we all come handicapped. We all come crying.
Yeah.
We all come with dysfunctionality.
Absolutely.
We all come with something that requires us to be judged.
That's why we're in that group.
That's why we're in this group.
Yeah.
We actually, in order for a man to really face his truth and face his demon, the idea of him accepting being judged is more critical than not being judged.
It's a first step, actually.
It's a first step.
Absolutely.
Because I come to buale MJITA na ba sa batlo ntšhala varo and like joke.
Because one tabo. No, it must be honest.
You got to be able to say, dude, so let me get this right. Né? Let me give an example of the kind of men that we have today. Straight up, just one example so that I provide. Let me give, so let's say MJITA. So a guy who will hear me say this, in order for them not to deal with what I'm saying, they will then use the principle, oh, you're judging me now. I could go out here, for example. So, I don't go with South Chako. So, when I let you open, when I let flow for the last 25 years.
Yeah.
Ne? Flow about 3,000 rands for groceries.
Yeah.
While once our argues. Margati were Nalwena Rats, or only baby and Mukara.
Yeah.
Ne?
In our mind.
Our baby demands 30,000.
Yeah. And you don't mind.
Yeah. And you don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
And when I give you that truth, because you don't want to deal with that, you're going to say, I'm judging you.
I hear you.
So are you here to grow as a man? Are you here to take responsibility?
Yeah.
Or not?
Yeah. It's as simple as that.
So what am I time? Not MJITA.
Yeah. One foot in, one foot out.
Yeah, one foot in, one foot out. You know, so that's what, those are the kind of interactions I'm interested in.
Absolutely.
That's how we grew up.
Yeah.
Whether we grew up like that or not, that practical reality is now required where men really stand up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I gotta be able to say, Titi, no, Shapo, Chago, are you taking care of your kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Now, I've seen you posting with your kids.
Yeah, but are you really...
But are you taking care of your kids?
Yeah.
How does that impact your relationship with your mother, divorced or not?
Correct.
Ne?
Correct.
Out here na strong, famous, so important to say sharp. Come on, right? Say we're only baby. Say let's say 3. Because you have beef with them, then you don't look after the children.
Yeah.
I had one saying which I'll end up with.
Yeah.
When I had a bit drama here, I said, listen, I'm a simple guy.
Yeah.
I believe in only one thing. I've had difficulties in relationship, but where my sperm goes, my check follows.
And for me, that's sure, that's a mouthful. So where do we go from here in terms of involving you?
No, I just wanted to meet and get
get
inside. Cause I have very strong opinions.
Yeah.
Very strong,
And
privately and very publicly.
Yeah.
And I'm interested in being part of, not to lead. I'm interested in part of a serious discussion with real men, because our country and our society is upside down.
Yeah.
It's not only from the reason politics are so fucked.
Yeah.
Because they're not real men, and real men are not saying they're not real men.
True.
Cockers.
Standing on the sidelines. I'm looking forward to engaging with you further. We are gonna grow this organically and in phases. One time at a time.
I guess if nothing else, I just wanted you to know that I'm so moved by, and you have my support.
Thank you, sir.
And you and the brothers that are doing this, I want to be part of. And we'll find out. I just want to be part of very substantially.
Yeah, absolutely.
In conversation, in engaging.
Yeah.
I guess mostly privately.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Because some of this stuff that we need to talk about is pretty deep.
Yeah.
It's pretty
obviously,
deep.
there'll be stuff that we won't even show on video because we want to obviously protect the privacy of those individuals. We want to get deep, and I'm planning a session. I think it's going to be in November. Yeah. I'm just speaking to some corporates.
Okay, one more. I got one more. For you. Just one more. One more, because you sparked it.
Yeah.
You and the guys.
Yes.
I'm addressing you and the guys. Okay, now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
I'll declare, I don't have a problem with privacy.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why? Because the issues that we're dealing with as men, the consequences of those issues are not private.
They become public.
They're very public.
Yeah.
I was speaking to my lady now, who recently got hijacked.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thinking in line with MJITA and stuff like that, and I always go, don't get to color somewhere.
Yeah, true.
And you get to private.
Yeah,
It public.
Yeah.
It manifests itself publicly, isn't it?
Yeah.
When a guy is abusing a woman in the bedroom privately, the woman comes out with scars. That's already public.
That's it.
It gets exposed to the children first, to the neighborhood.
Yeah.
She may not say anything, but it's there, it's public.
True.
So that young man that grows up abused, that ends up putting a gun in yours and my head and your wife and your children's head and wants to take your car. That is a manifestation of abuse that was private.
It is.
Manifested by another man.
And now it's public.
Who created a monster.
Yeah.
So if we're going to be dealing with solving these very public issues, why are we dealing about them privately? Why are you anonymous?
Yeah.
Because now I'm not going to trust you.
Exactly. Yeah.
If you're anonymous, then I could be speaking to and dealing with a monster that's creating all these things.
Who just wants an opinion of how things are. I get you.
So I don't know how we're going to build men by talking privately the most difficult issues that are actually manifested publicly. Every violence that we're experiencing right now
Yeah.
is a consequence of some private shit that's happening somewhere in somebody's bedroom.
That's true. Because it starts there.
That's it.
Yo. He's deep. He's wise. That's why Edel Khutmanlaka is part of Amatyma Network, and we're gonna grow this thing together. For me, this is what it's about, you know, getting to speak to those that have traveled the path before us.
Thank
you, my brother.
Yeah, man. Really
Thanks for
proud
your
of you.
time. Thanks for your time.
Thank you for inspiring me.
Yeah, no, thank you. So we'll definitely keep on the phone. When are you back? What an incredibly eye-opening conversation I've just had with the legendary LEBO M, someone that I've grown up looking up to, someone who's quite strong in personality, very assertive. He's a legend. And just for me to have an opportunity just to spend the last 20 minutes or so has been an incredible opening experience, eye-opening experience. And he's said a lot of things that I need to apply as well in my own life, and other timers can also apply. This is what Amatyma is about: creating the conversation, going with it, supporting each other. Amatyma Series.
Don't believe a word they say. Turn around and walk away. Make your world a better state. Listen to your daddy.